Welcome back to the channel, where I typically go to the used bins, find used discs, but I actually found a couple of new discs that I bought at full value, where I still think there might be some room left over to the right collector. But I've got some Innova, some MVP, some Discraft, and even some Latitude 64. So I kind of went through and been trying to learn other manufacturers and just testing the waters. So currently we're sitting a little over $1,250 in profit, and we're trying to get to $5,000. And to get there, I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm making sure that I'm getting this content out there and not sitting on too many used discs. And I'll probably be going back out to the Facebook pages as well in order to sell some of these awesome discs. So I'm gonna get started off with this Calvin Heimberg Champion Edition of the Great Lakes Open when he won. This is a Color Glow Toro from Innova. Color Glow plastic's probably the best feeling plastic in my opinion. So when we found this one in the used bins, this one was an instant one that actually has been sitting in my bag for a couple weeks now. But I actually have a couple Color Glow Toros, T-Birds, and Jays over here as well that I ordered from the Innova Pro Shop that I might be sneaking one into this because people love this stamp. People love collecting these types of discs. Super straight Heimberg Toro. A little bit of like a puddle top on there, so it fits so perfectly in the hand for forehands. This one's going to be hard to let go personally because this disc, it's just like, it feels like a unicorn Toro a little bit. And if I had one, I'd have to figure out how to make a little puddle top if I switch over to this one, but super cool find in the used bin. Next up, I found this cool Champion Sidewinder, but this actually came from DFW Disc Golf Center. It's a $9 pickup. Pre-flight number, does have ink on there, but overall it's still in super good condition. I think this is like the perfect roller disc. It's flat also, so it is gonna make sure to get over that roller angle super quickly. But other than maybe like one thumb spot right there, this disc is in super good condition. And again, pre-flight number means that this disc came out pre-2009, whenever Innova introduced the flight numbers on the discs. So that's why it just says distance driver. You don't see the typical like 95 -41 you would see on a Sidewinder. I'm pretty sure that's the flight numbers. We'll see. Anyways, interesting one. It's opaque, it's fingerprinty. So there's a really good disc here for anyone who's looking for a good roller. Next up, for all the MVP fans, found this awesome patent pending proton anode. Just again, sitting in the used bins, it looks like for a while. You can always tell if it's patent pending based on the back. It'll say patent pending right where they're taking the disc out of the injection mold. So this one is again pre-flight number for MVP, and I actually found two. This was one putter, and the other putter I ended up finding was this awesome just neutron spin. It's patent pending. I'm so confused also on what is different about these two molds. There's like maybe like the slightest difference between these two, but when I took both of them out to go to Alex Clark after I bought these, I mean, they flew pretty much the same. But the spin, awesome. Anode actually didn't even have any ink on this one. And there's just something interesting about this mold too, because it's like rounded. It's not like your typical 90-degree cut where it's like it fits so well with like a human finger sometimes. And I kind of wish that more discs were like this for forehands, where it just fits so perfectly instead of that awkward 90-degree cut, which I think I would explore that if we can get to $20,000 in profit when I build my own discs, of trying to figure out like, is there anything unique we can do with some molds where it's rounded like that, because it definitely feels super interesting in the hand. That is the patent pending proton anode, and we also got the neutron ion. I think I want to dye this one, and if anybody picks this one up, you can pick which color scheme, and I can do like a split dye on this one off of the website. Next up, I've got a Innova made Discmania DD2. DD2 doesn't get a ton of love out there sometimes, but it's still a really good disc. It's 13 speed, 5 glide, -2 and 2. Took this one out there, big hyzer flip, bomber disc. It's 13 speed, really reminds me actually a lot like a nuke. I'm probably gonna get roasted for saying that, but it definitely feels like a 13 or 14 speed disc for sure. It's pretty flat. It's still in super good condition, but it was a $10 find. And honestly, anytime I find something that's Innova made Discmania, I usually pick it up. I think they're my favorite discs to pull out of the used bins. Even if it's not a DD3, it's still a pretty cool disc in good condition that I'm sure somebody would love to add to their bag. The next one that had been sitting in replays used bins for quite a while was actually this Discraft ESP Flex Challenger. So it's this high flex putt and approach disc. I think when I got this one, I was just impressed at how nice this felt. But I want to give this like more time. I'm going to be throwing it myself, so I'm not going to put this one up there just yet. But it's cool to find these old Flex Challenger or ESP Flex discs. Actually, Discraft is coming out with, I think, the drones and maybe a couple other ones. They're redoing this type of plastic, so it was kind of cool when I found this one. So this will be going on just my own bag. We're going to play around with this one and see how that holds up. Next up, I did mention I got a couple brand new discs. This was a Nexus Greg Barsby Tour Series Rhino from 2022. I've never seen one of these. Maybe I just completely skipped over this, but I was like, the blue and the gold holographic on there looked so cool that I figured, you know what, let's do it. It was like a $16 disc and, you know, brand new, sitting in the DFW Disc Golf Center. So it's one of those where I think sometimes like the R Pro plastic doesn't feel the best, and this is probably one of the coolest feeling rhinos that I've seen. So Nexus plastic, a little bit different, and it's back in the Greg Barsby run from 22. So that one's really cool. Got another Innova disc here. This is a Protostar Innova G-Star T-Bird 3. So this is again more for like colder weather temperatures, but this is the first run they did with the T-Bird 3. So this one, it's got the old sticker here. It's actually pinned, so there's no embossing on this when the T-Bird 3 came out. It's pretty much G-Star, what you would typically expect, but the T-Bird 3 is a super popular mold, and I think it's an incredibly good disc, and it's cool to find these Protostar ones, and this was, again, like a $16 buy. I think some of these can go for a lot for the right buyer, and you know, I'll have this one, and we'll see who wants to pick up the cool Protostar edition of the T-Bird 3 if you're that type of a Protostar collector. And this one was pretty cool. It's kind of like a white, like dull yellow to a super bright yellow on this one. This is actually a Manta, which is a very old mold, and this is a Protostar edition. So it's pinned VST 176, and it's got a pretty interesting like rim profile here. It feels like a 6-speed or something, but it's also got this big bead on there, super wide as well. So this is just a mold in a disc that you don't see too often, the Manta from Innova, and it is also the first run in Star Plastic. So I had to pick it up. Again, it's a pretty cool, interesting collector disc, and we'll see what this does. And then the last set of discs that I ended up getting, a lot of these are going to be Latitude 64. So some of these, I actually think all of these are going to be in the gold line, and I'll go through each one. But I've been trying to learn more about Latitude 64 and just Trilogy in general, because they are a massive manufacturer, but I haven't felt like they've got the best reputation or maybe like the most love, at least around DFW. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I was like, you know what, we're going to give it a try. The plastic was super interesting and pearly. This is a striker, which I hadn't heard of the striker before. So it feels like basically like a T-Bird basically. And this is in collaboration with Jesper Lundmark. So stable control and distance driver, it's pre-flight number. So this is an older run of Trilogy plastic for Latitude 64. It's in their gold line, which I really like the logo. You can't really see it as well on this one, but they had this cool like shield logo on here. This is a Vision. So this is a turnover control and distance driver. I got this thing to hyzer flip and go forever with a super late turn, which is pretty cool. And I really like this plastic, the gold line plastic. Kind of reminds me of like an ethereal or plasma blend from MVP's plastic or Thought Space. So that was, it's a super interesting blend. Now I'm actually going to skip to this one, which is the Riot, which isn't in production anymore. And you can see actually that stamp that I'm talking about. These things are super, super interesting. Really pearly. I like pearly discs, which I have one at the end here that I want to go over. That's probably my favorite disc that has come out in recent years. But this is a Riot. It says it's an overstable high-speed driver. Got this about 450 out in the field. On the first throw, it flew exactly like I was expecting it to fly. And it basically had a little bit of an Annie and flexed all the way out. So that was a really fun disc to throw. And it's also fun just to go throw pre-flight number discs because you never know how they fly until you actually throw them. Then I got a Saint Pro. It's gold line. This again is pre-flight number. Saint Pro is a very popular mold when it comes to Latitude 64. A lot of these discs were sitting inside of Replay's used bins for 6 months to a year. And I mean, there's no reason for me to really pick these up unless just testing the waters with Trilogy plastic. Don't know if any of these are actually going to sell, worst case scenario, I just turn them back in, you know? And then I ended up with 2 ballistas. Actually, these are from 2 different trips, but I just loved the stamp. So pre-flight number stable, super fast, long distance driver. These things definitely go forever. It's 14-speed driver. It's not the Pro version, which is a little bit more overstable. They look pretty cool. The crown, the shield, the wings. I actually really, really love this stamp. It's just like so clean. So I'm just like, they did a good job with those stamps. All right, and then the last one that I ended up getting from the Latitude 64 stack was a halo, gold line halo. A lot of these again had the same type of a stamp, and they again have been sitting there for a while. And I do like to just buy a bunch of discs and just see how they fly and try different molds that I've never tried either, because it's like the funnest part. You don't have to go spin an arm and a leg when you go to the used bins in order to do this. And so I also typically will just be like, hey, you know what? Today we're feeling like a Discraft only round, or today we're feeling like a Discmania only round, or maybe it's Innova or it's Color Glow. I just love building bags. Like one of my favorite things to do, and just try new discs. So I think we're gonna have a nice little stack of Latitude 64 and Trilogy in general that I want to go just try out some molds and see what I think about their plastic. And then to end this video, at least from the used bin-ish finds, I do have this Skull Tacos one. So again, as I'm trying to look for this overstable mid-range slot, which I'm very close to figuring out, I think. This is one that was recommended. I don't know if I've already covered this one, but it's just such a cool stamp that I just had to show it off again. It's a mint taco, and I thought it was hilarious. Skull Tacos with a double stamp. So just kind of a cool disc. It was only $8. It was brand new in the used bins, and this thing is stupidly overstable. Oh my goodness. I talked a little bit about pearly plastic, and if you want to talk about pearly plastic, look no further than these white Thought Space Athletics vessels. This is in the Vex plastic, which is Discraft produced plastic, but it doesn't feel like Discraft. It really does not. I don't know what they did differently with this blend, but I'm loving it. I actually saw a zone ringer top, zone bottom, like the concept in replay yesterday, and this feels so much better and a little bit different. I think they adjusted it for sure, and I've been absolutely loving this, and I think this could literally just kick out my zones in the bag. So stay tuned for a review on this disc. I don't want to be like a disc reviewer who's just like constantly pumping out a bunch of disc reviews. I think if you're going to make YouTube videos and content, you should do something that you love, right? Like make the videos you would be happy to watch. And I think it's, for me, it's like when I find an incredibly cool disc that I want to share with people, or if it makes my bag or my mind is blown, I will probably record a review on it. So this will be coming out, and I can guarantee you right now, I would pick up one of these white pearly ones if you can find any of these, because these are absolutely gorgeous. But let's give an update on where we're sitting from a profit perspective. So we sold a couple discs off the website, and again, I've been so focused on just trying to get content, go to the used bins. We do a much better job of actually posting things on Facebook, on eBay, and Hatcher is helping me out. So big thanks to Hatcher for helping get things listed. So we're going to be coming out with my full collection of 800 or so discs here shortly. I've got, we ended up selling the Ricky Force $10 buy for $16, the orange MD3 from that cool mystery box we got for $9 in, well, it wasn't really a mystery box, it was an eBay lot for $25 off the last video. And I sold 6 PA3s, which now I'm taking that into consideration because I'm just gonna think about all the profit options that you can do. I think also, like, if you are thinking about doing a custom stamp run, I also want to talk about the economics behind that too. What you have to pay for the stamp design, for the custom stamping, and is it worth it if you're considering doing the same thing? So ended up selling 6 of those. I sold one of my old Eagles, the Ace Delivery Service ones, the 24 Sexton, which completes that 4-disc used bin buy off of the course, which was a great flip for me. I think it was like $72 total in profit off of a $35 buy. So that was great. And then sold one of my old dyed Destroyers off. And that brings us up to a whopping total right now of $13.35 in profit. So again, have not been fully grinding out getting things listed on eBay or Facebook or anything, because there's a lot of things I'm thinking about doing. Thanks for being along in the journey. Plenty more of used bin finds coming out. I'm gonna try to get a couple out this week alone so I can catch up, get things listed. I feel like that's what my life is right now, is catching up with everything I have going on. I have a full-time job, 2 kids, and they're my priority for sure. And this is just for fun. If it turns into anything more than this, that's cool.